So today I have the pleasure of being here with WB6POT. Peter is one of the OGs. He's a SOTA GOAT, and he's one of the first guys who chased me more than 10 times. At this point, we're up to 33 QSOs.
Wow.
Which is incredible because when we first met on the air with Morse code, I couldn't copy a B6 to save my life. And WB6POT had to repeat his call sign dozens of times. I'm so sorry.
You're not the only one.
I was going to ask, does that happen a lot?
It does. People that aren't familiar with, luckily now people are familiar with the call sign. People I've chased, you just recognize it. But yeah, if it's a new operator, it's a long call sign.
I was talking to my buddies, Mike and Lorraine, K6STR and W6LOR, and they want to know, how is it that you are so good at chasing? How is your signal so strong all the time?
It's the station. I have a bunch of towers. Depending on the band, it's all metal, lots of Yagis up in the air at pretty good elevation. I have a 40 meter, if it's on 40 meter, which for Mike and Lorraine, it's usually 40. It's a 4-element full-size beam.
Wow.
400 pounds. So it's a big guy. A lot of fun chasing DX with that, which is why I mainly got it. But it's been great for SOTA too.
What rig is it? It's
a Flex. Right now it's a 6600 Flex. I do have an amp. I rarely use the amp unless I'm chasing DX, like new entities type of DX. I have used it from time to time chasing SOTA. I operate remote. So my towers are at my second home where I have some land. So I've got the towers there, but I mainly reside at my primary residence, which is San Jose. So about 130 miles as the crow flies from my towers. So I operate that remotely. I work from home. I have 2 monitors. One monitor has all the radio stuff on it. The other monitor has work or email or whatever else I'm doing. And I usually have the spotting network sitting right in a little slice there. And if I see a summit and I'm not in a meeting, boom, I just jump on that frequency and work them. The radio's on. Anytime I'm in front of my desk, the radio's on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Have you seen this new TinyMIDI that N6 ARA just launched?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, yeah, it's a thumbnail-sized device that plugs into a phone. Okay. And it lets you do Morse code with capacitive touch paddles directly from your phone from anywhere using a Flex.
Really? Okay.
I love it. If you've heard me chasing for the last 6 months, this is how I've been doing it.
I would love to do that because on my phone, I've got the smart SDR on the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and normally I would just use macros if I'm using that.
Right, but then this makes it easy to send somebody's name, tell them good luck.
That would be fantastic, right.
Have a good sandwich.
Yes, hear that all the time.
Yeah, so I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
Speaking of Morse code, I noticed today you're doing most of your activation in CW.
Correct.
How'd you get into Morse code?
Well, originally I had to learn Morse code. I was originally licensed in '76, so I had to learn it, the 5 up to 20 words a minute to get my licenses. I wasn't into Morse code back then. I just did it because I had to, and that was when I was in high school. So I was mainly single sideband back then. So I hardly used it at all. Occasionally we'd do contests with friends, other friends at my place. But after that, I was actually inactive for about 30 plus years until roughly 2016 when I got back into ham radio. I wanted to relearn Morse code. I don't remember. This is before SOTA, so I'm not sure what got me interested in Morse code, but I just had the itch to relearn it. And I learned it the wrong way. We were always taught, dot, dash, dash. And so I had to kind of unlearn that and relearn the new way. I signed up for CW Ops, which is fantastic. I recommend that to anyone who wants to learn Morse code, who can dedicate the time that is required. So I did all the classes, not the I think it's beginner, basic, intermediate, and advanced are the 4, I think. Anyway, I didn't do the beginner because I already knew Morse code, but it's extremely slow. So I took the other 3 up to advanced and passed those and became a CW Ops member. and then SOTA came around for me in 2020, I think was my first year. And of course that made total sense just to do CW because it works so much better in single sideband. And yeah, so I've kept up with it, and I do rag chew QSOs with a neighbor of mine once a week just to try to, keep up with rag chewing because I'm a baby. I won't call CQ other than for SOTA.
Sure.
Because I'm key fright. I guess I have key fright. So anyway, that's the story.
Okay, yeah, because you got a really clean fist.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and a very recognizable call sign. All right, and last question before we head off to another mountain. Question from Josh, KI6NAZ over at Ham Radio Crash Course. Mm-hmm. What do you activate with? What's your favorite rig? And how did you decide on that set of equipment?
Okay, when I first got into SOTA, and this was before I started rolling with CW, so the first few activations actually with single sideband, I lugged up a FT100, Yaesu FT100 with a Bio-NO battery on the however many activations I did originally before I got into CW. Eventually, probably within a year, I purchased this KX2 down here, which I love. It'll tune up anything. And I just a store-bought antenna. I've played around with different antennas. I've had, in fact, when we had the FT100, and in fact, the first dozen or so activations with the KX2, my friend and I lugged around a end-fed half-wave antenna made for the home. The thing weighed a ton.
Oh my gosh!
so he would carry that. I would carry the rig and all the other stuff. And that's my friend W6DT Wayne, who you'll hear me on with a lot. We do a lot of activations in the Northern Sierras together. But anyway, so this antenna behind us is a SOTA Beams end-fed random wire. So that's the one I've been using most recently, and it seems to work. I haven't had any problems with it.
Yeah, you seem to be making plenty of QSOs today.
I made plenty of QSOs today, and 10, 15, and 30. So it works. I think it'll go from 10. I think I've tuned it up on 80, actually. I don't think it does very well on 80, but you can, in a pinch, you can use it on 80 with the KX2.
Very good. And can I see the knee board? How have you got this thing set up? Well,
yeah, I've used this for so many different things. Sometimes, obviously, this chair is here because this is a drive up. I've never taken this chair. This is a field day chair. This is what it is. Normally, I have a little chair in my backpack that, the squat chair that sits really low to the ground, lightweight. So I use this as a table normally. This is my table, but I can also use it as a knee pad if I'm in a place where I can't use the chair. The ground is either uneven or sinks the chair, this chair sinks into the ground. So I can use this as a knee pad. I can use it as a table. It is probably 90% of the time it's a table. Okay. And my friend Wayne and I, a lot of the summits, we'll go to the summits and we'll just share a radio. We'll set up one station. I would say 75% of the time we set up one station, 25% two stations. If we set up one station, then I can just hand this over to him. He can do his when it's his turn and hand it back and forth. It's just simple. Makes sense. And I noticed you're logging on paper. I'm old school. I log on paper, type it back into a program when I get home. I tried. I have in a pinch. I have an app. HamRS, I think it is, on my phone. I tried that a couple times. My problem is I have clumsy fingers when I'm typing. I hate texting. And I'd be fine typing in call signs until I fat-fingered something and I mistyped. And if I have to backspace, forget it. I'm lost at that point. Then the call sign, and I don't retain anything in my head. I have a lot of younger friends. They'll hear a call sign, like during contests, I'll hear a call sign. I need to get it the first time. And I can get call signs at pretty much any speed first time if I can write it down or type it in. If I have to retain it in my head, maybe I'll get a letter or two and that's it. It goes in one ear out the other and it doesn't stay in the brain. Got it. That's me. Anyway, so yes, paper. Paper makes sense. And then the last thing I see here is that a Bengali? I love that. Yes, my friend Wayne, W6DT, bought this before I did. I just had the Elecraft, which I didn't particularly like. It seemed to oxidize easily. I was constantly cleaning it. It would loosen up from time to time. In general, it was okay, but I had issues with it. I tried his when he bought, because he has a KX2 as well. I tried his, this is an Adventure. I tried his Adventure and I fell in love with it. So I immediately bought it and I use that everywhere now.
That's a beautiful, beautiful rig.
I love it. It's so smooth.
Yeah, and just watching you operate, it's really clear the whole system works well together. You've got it all dialed in.
Well, thank you.
So, well, thanks for taking the time to chat. Should we go activate something?
You bet.
All right, second peak time.
All right.
Let's roll.
Okay.